right, so let's talk about. Well, first and foremost, we gotta give condolences to the Shula family because we did lose a legend this past Monday.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Coach. Coach. Perfect coach. Perfect coach.
Yeah, the only perfect coach in NFL history. Record still stands right now today.
Yes. Recognize. Can't do nothing
legendary.
but honor that. Gotta honor that.
Exactly. He is the most winningest coach in NFL history. So, we've been trying to build since he retired, which leads us right into what we actually want to talk about. So how you feel about the draft and how the Miami Dolphins did?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, let's big up Coach Flores and GM Greer. I mean, I think they're hand in glove right now. I'm ecstatic. I mean, I have a little. I'm not gonna say I'm not frowning on the draft, but I have a little input that I wish we had went a certain way. But overall, I'm B+ and A- in that draft.
All right, how do you feel? We drafted Tua now. We drafted Tua. So how do you feel Tua could carry this team? Because, I mean, honestly, me as a fan, I'm not looking for Tua to sit out. I'm looking for him to get on the field and play.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing I must, I'm pretty sure we all as Dolphins fans are aware. If I can keep this guy healthy, we're all scared of this hip injury. But barring that, I've seen the guy 4 years in college, can read a defense, he has a nice arm. I'm all in with Tua. At first I had my doubts, but Coach, they know something that we don't know, so let's go.
Okay, all right, that sounds like a plan. So now, with I know you say you had some disappointments. Any disappointments you saw with the people that we didn't keep on the roster and people that we brought in, like from a veteran standpoint?
I love the veteran move that we made, bringing guys like Shaq Lawson. I think his toughness is adding pure toughness, at that position itself. And then when you look back at the guys we let go at the same position, you have a guy like Charles Harris, who who never really panned out to do what we brought him here to do. So that's one of the moves I think was an upgrade, and also the linebacker position. I think they made key moves at the key position. So let's see.
Okay. All right. So what are you looking for this Dolphin team to do? Because last year I think they turned the corner and they kind of got some momentum going, but by that time season's over. So what are you looking for this team to do and build off of the momentum that we had going toward the end?
Well, Toccara, like I know, you give some young dogs, some hungry dogs, the taste of blood. I mean, it sets out to just go bananas the next season. I feel like we're going to come in this season rolling, running. I really do. And, being a homer also, I know a lot of people will say that about me. True. But I do feel, looking at sports in general, and especially football, when you can start young guys young and start getting a camaraderie together and the chemistry going, hey, man, sky's the limit.
100. I agree. Now, do you feel Fitzpatrick is going to be a role model per se for Tua?
Absolutely. We're talking about a guy who's been around. He knows. I mean, it's nothing he hasn't seen as a veteran. And then you talk about a humble guy, a guy who knows his role even as a starter. He knows he's not there for the future. I think he's going to grab a guy like Tua, and like you say, I wouldn't be surprised if Tua's not day one, if he's 100% healthy.
Yeah.
But if not, and if not, maybe week 4, definitely halfway, week 8, I should see Tua on the field. A good Tua, not no experimental Tua. I think he'll be ready to guns blazing.
Okay, all right. I mean, the trainers on the Dolphin staff, he passed the physical. Now we know back in the day, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it, Nick Saban tried to get Drew Brees. Our doctors said that Drew Brees didn't pass the physical, and you see what Drew Brees went on to do. So are they jumping the gun here, or are they making the right decision by passing him on the physical, which I'm sure they have, because that could be a whole nother liability issue, but allowing him to go ahead and say, all right, you passed, you're 100%, we can get you out on the field.
Right. I mean, that was a crapshoot going back to the Breeze. Me as a fan, I honestly would have probably made the same identical mistake, because we're talking a shoulder versus a knee, you know what I mean? So that was one of those catch-22. I'm pretty sure half the Dolphin fans, if not more than half, would have made that same mistake, you know.
Gotcha.
But right now I think we can't afford to take that chance to making another mistake like that.
Gotcha.
So, you know.
Understood. So we got about 20 minutes left, so let's talk about, you know, you mentioned earlier you hometown, and I'm all for it. Let's talk about some of the hometown talent that you felt got away from us in this draft.
Man, let me just, before I even touch on this draft, Toccara, let's backstep a few years. And I mean, not even a high-round draft pick, but we had hometown talent coming out, from running backs to wide receivers. And then I'm going to, you know, bring it a couple years, you know, of the future, you know, with the Jackson, Lamar Jackson, hometown kid.
Mm-hmm.
We had rumors he's too small. He can't throw. You know, all he wants to do is this or whatever they want to say. As a Dolphin fan, brought tears to my eyes week 1 last year. Why? Not only did they shred us, we had 2 local kids single-handedly. 2 kids beat us last year.
Yeah.
Without, of course, with the, you know, the hometown kid, Hollywood Brown. Him and Lamar Jackson just put on the show in front of the hometown fans. And I don't know if too many people heard this, but I caught the sound bites after the game. Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown standing in the interview. First thing Lamar Jackson said, he did pretty good for a running back. A lot of people thought he was just going to be a running back. So he answered one question. He did pretty good today for a running back, right? And then it was a question brought to those guys, you know, how do you guys feel about coming back home in front of your fans? And to a surprise to me, Jackson replied, I love being in front of my hometown fans. I wish I would have been drafted here so I could play here. I don't want to have to come and do this to my hometown fans.
Wow.
Grew up a Dolphin fan. How about that?
Hey, and it happens just like that a lot of the times. A lot. And it's not necessarily your big it's not necessarily your big positions either, Toccara. I can go around the league, local kids that I know locally, you know, from all types from the Chaminades to the St. Thomas to the South Plantations to South Brown High School, football players, Allendale. You know, we have them right here. This is the South. I mean, let alone, we're not even talking West Palm Beach. We're not even talking North, you know, Florida, none of that. We're talking Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, you know, the Miramar area, this bottom melting pot before we even go to Dade County. Mm-hmm.
We have it right here, and it's like, I don't understand what some of these coaches are looking for.
Yeah, I agree. I got to ask you, because you're talking about Lamar Jackson, and there's a hometown talent that's actually going as an undrafted free agent to Baltimore, who actually beat Lamar Jackson in high school.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
You got to be talking about the kid Tyler. Oh, man.
Right.
And this is a young kid that I actually went to the football game because I was hearing, you know, so much about this kid. And being that my fiance is from the Hallandale area, I go to a game. So be it, it's the guy Tyler Huntley. It's the running back Tyrone. What is it, Moss? Moss, is it Tyrone Moss?
Yeah.
I know it's Moss as the running back and the receiver. So I'm actually witnessing this game, and let alone it's a sold-out house. You have the Michael Irvins and a lot of celebrities, Asante Samuels, guys I've seen on the sideline at this particular game. And that's all everyone was talking about. Tyler. This kid is unbelievable. He has the it factor.
Right.
Yeah, alone he goes from Yes, in high school. We're talking high school. and let alone this guy goes all the way across country to Utah. The three guys, three amigos, Brown County Trio, Allendale Trio, turn the program around, and you didn't hear anything about a Utah team too much. And he brought them out of the nowhere to being a top 10, top 5 team in college football.
Yep.
And for this young man to not even get mentioned in this draft, to me, is one of those rocks that's not unturned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's got to turn those stones over.
And you know what? He's going into Baltimore, who has the league's MVP in a sense, right? You got Lamar Jackson, who's pretty league MVP. He's going to, and he plays the position that Lamar plays. These guys had a high school battle, which Tyler was on the winning end of that battle. I went back, I watched the YouTube highlights, and the thing that I noticed about Tyler was so precise with putting that ball on the money. He could get out the pocket and run, but he can throw that ball on the money, which is what they look for in a quarterback, to be accurate. And what I did see from Lamar, when he tucked and keep, that boy's a problem. That young man is a problem.
Oh yeah, his decision is made. Once that decision is made on his behalf,
it's over.
It's catch me if you can. You know what I mean? So absolutely, and I love the way the Harbaugh and the organization of Baltimore. You know, that was a big smart pickup because you have a running back like Lamar who is extraordinary. We know that. But barring, hopefully this guy don't get injured. So I thought it was a smart move on Baltimore's behalf, bringing in another more poised type, quarterback who will take off also, but like you said, has a better arm. And the league will see that when it comes to this Tyler Huntley.
Now let me ask you this, because I went on Tyler's Instagram, and Tyler basically said, kind of in the words of, the league did me dirty, meaning league slapped on him. You know what I mean? Nobody drafted him. Baltimore picked him up as an undrafted free agent. Cool. He put it. The league did me dirty. No worries. All these teams did me dirty. I'm sorry. So the teams did me dirty. All right, cool. Lamar goes on his Twitter and says, "Welcome to the fam. I still owe you from that game that you beat me in." We're talking the high school game now. And now these young men about to share the same locker room. So my question to you, I just want to stir the pot a little bit, is the pressure on Lamar? That's all I'm asking.
Well, to me, I think absolutely. He's actually inviting the challenge, which is also another good thing on top of that. It's like he knows what the organization is getting. So I think he's saying, yeah, come on, let me, really grind and battle, and let's battle how we did in high school, but in the big leagues now. And you can show the other 31 teams that they really did make a mistake.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Maybe we could put package. Baltimore probably put package together with, to see. That's what it's all about, winning football games. You know what I'm saying? So who say they won't have a package for Tyler when he comes there and show that he has the ability to do whatever it takes?
Right. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. RG3 is the backup quarterback in Baltimore, and I forget who the third string quarterback was. But this may be my hometown emotion coming in, but I got Tyler being that number 2 quarterback in Baltimore. Over RG3.
They also have that. Yeah, RG3, we all know, and that's, what we're hoping we're not getting in Tua. We know for a fact that RG3 coming out of college was hands down one, a no miss.
Mm-hmm.
He just had the unfortunate getting hurt. Because he definitely was a problem. He was going to be a problem. And that's what I think Baltimore sees in Lamar, which I don't talk that and wish that on no athlete.
Of course.
Injuries, but it happens,
Right.
So I think that's what they're taking a precaution with.
As an organization, you want your investment to get down when they could get down just to be safe. Lamar is
Correct.
not that guy. He's not that guy.
Correct.
He's not that guy. But what I think happens now with Tyler coming in, like you said, he's poised. He already makes good decisions. He clearly knows when to get down and not take the hit. So for me, just looking at it, and I'm not a GM or an organization by any means, but I'm looking at a kid that we just paid less money for to be on our team that has just as much quality as our starting QB. Like,
yes.
That's a no-lose situation for the Baltimore Ravens.
Absolutely. And honestly, Toccara, I was one of those guys on the back end. I really did. I prayed that Miami was going to maybe 6th round, late rounds, bring someone like Tyler in. Because, with Tua, it's almost the same mindset that Baltimore did. You know what I mean? Except for Tua is not running, but you have an injured guy already somewhat. So you bring in a safety valve in the back end with a guy like Tyler who might come in and light it up in preseason, and then you'll have, you'll be looked at as a genius.
Let me give you the kicker on this, though. Tyler already has an established chemistry with Hollywood Brown because they play Little League football together and they grew up together. Now, Lamar throws that ball effortlessly. And me watching those highlights of him in high school, him and Tyler, what I did see was Lamar wasn't as accurate. Now, when I tell you he could throw that ball effortlessly, that ball get out there, and it just looked like he ain't even trying to throw it, and it goes deep.
The Mike Vick effect.
Yes. So let me ask you this. When you can throw that ball so effortlessly out there like that, and you have a Hollywood Brown that can just go get it, how good does that make you look as a quarterback? When we're talking about accuracy, that's a whole nother ball game. But I'm saying when you can just toss it out there and you got a speed guy you can overthrow this man. He gonna go get your ball, and it looks like you're on the money.
Right. Two guys who I absolutely wish. I wish Miami would have made that decision. Yes. Oh man.
But you got a Tyler who played with Hollywood Brown, who has already some chemistry there. Now, if Baltimore can't keep throwing the long ball, because if you're as good as your last game, then how do we sum up Lamar's last game against the Tennessee Titans?
Hey, that's how you definitely beat a Baltimore Raven team. You take away the deep ball, and you keep them off the field with the pound and ground, And that was a perfect, and look who, should we even mention Tennessee right now, Toccara? Who carried them?
Oh man, listen, man. I gotta ask you. Why do our former players? I'll put it in the proper context. Why do our former players leave from this organization and seem like they become superstars? Is it the system that they were in was holding them back?
Absolutely. It's like I told someone before, big time Dolphin. I talk about it all the time, but it's in the history. It's like the coaching staff that we have will get the players that we think that they think they need, but they'll come to a time and they either misuse them, you know what I mean, and they run their course here in Miami, and then, of course, you send them out, and they still have plenty left in the tank to prove, and that's what they end up doing a lot of times. I've seen it all. I've seen that movie so many times when it comes to the Miami Dolphins because, yes, it has a lot to do with the system. They're here basically, like you hear that saying, I'm before my time or whatever you want to say about it.
Right.
That's what happens. That's what happens. But I think we have the perfect regime now. I think we have the perfect football minds now. I don't think we will see that type of stuff because the things that we saw last year had a lot of people, except I will raise my hand quickly, I was agreeing with every move that they did last year. I agree with everything. Clear the house. Clear it.
You have to.
You know what I mean? Let everybody go now. Let them go and do whatever they want to do individually, wherever they end up, because they run their course. Let's get football players here, young guys and that's what showed me last year. We have a coach here in Miami. The guy took a bunch of, excuse my language, I hate to disrespect the game and the sport, but to me he took a lot of guys who was equivalent to salesmen and some construction guys with the toughness. They really wasn't, set out all-out athletes. He won 5 games to me with nothing.
Okay.
So he showed me he can get guys.
Could we say he took a script out of Schuler's book? Because remember that defense that won that Super Bowl was a no-name defense. You didn't have a superstar on that team now. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why. Yeah, and I'm loving Ross for that decision. You bring in a defensive-minded guy who showed you, like we were just speaking on, he showed you can win. You just listen and do your job. That's his main thing. Do your job. It takes me back it takes me all the way back to preseason last year, mini camp, training camp. The big wall the guy had out there with the big it takes no talent on the wall. And it kept that had me scratching my head. That had me scratching my head until the end of the year. I'm like, point made, coach. Point made, coach.
Yeah.
It takes no talent.
You know what? It takes no talent. And I picked that up from Brian Flores, and I actually tell that to my team as well. You gotta master the TNTs, the things that take no talent. Your effort does not take talent.
Yes. And I think that is a brilliant, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And look what happened.
Being professional, because if he's coming from the tutelage of Bill Belichick and he has that championship pedigree, you best believe there are certain principles and certain foundations that he's going to implement, and I think he did implement those last year. And you're gonna start to see those results. You're gonna start seeing the results, and I think we started seeing it towards the end. Guys having fun playing the game, but also working hard.
Yep, and that's what I think the Dolphins have to take back. We have to take back that it's about playing good before it look. Because we got caught with that. You look good, you play good. So some people got caught up to it just turned into they just looking good. You're not playing good. You just look good.
Right.
So it's like taking it back. Let's take it back. Go back to the basics. And this is what I think is gonna get us over that hump because I haven't seen that since Rest His Soul, Don Shula, in his early days. That type of coaching here in Miami.
And that says a lot because we've had numerous amounts of coaches, just like we had numerous amounts of quarterbacks trying to get the job done over here. So if it all starts at the top, I think that the organization itself has really done a good job of getting the right people in place to make these decisions because the decision-making hasn't been very good in the past.
No. And with that being said, I honestly right now, betting the blind, God forbid if we can get through with this coronavirus crap. I do see Miami, doing a lot. Just doing things that people didn't expect this year, let alone my prediction is for next year for us to really kick down the door. But it's just I see it. Everything matches now. I did like the coaching of Jimmy Johnson in the past, but it didn't match from the ownership down to the coaches.
Correct.
It has to all line up.
Yes, I agree.
And I think it's doing it now.
Yeah. We got 1:15 left. So I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
In the blind, do the Miami Dolphins make the playoffs this year?
Yes. And I'm going to throw one step further. I'm going to throw it once we win the division this year. That's what's going to get everybody. We're going to win the division this year.
Okay. So no wild card.
No wild card. We're going to win the division this year. If we have more time, I'll break it down, but I'll leave that for the next segment on why do I really say that.
I respect it. So you know what? We're going to take off on that right there because the show's about to end. But Miami Dolphins made the playoffs this year, and you had them as the divisional champ.
Absolutely. Book it.
All right, we're booking it. 10 seconds left, and you heard it here first. We'll get at you guys next time. Be easy.
God bless.